NATO refuses to consider our proposals for de-escalation and the prevention of dangerous incidents in a constructive manner. On the contrary, the alliance continues to move its military infrastructure irresponsibly closer to Russia's borders, while missile defense systems are being deployed in Romania and Poland. American intermediate-range missiles could appear on European territory at any moment. The nightmare scenario of military confrontation returns, one that this continent has already lived through following NATO's so-called dual-track decision. Europe remains silent. Ukraine is receiving growing volumes of Western weapons, encouraging its leadership to sabotage the Minsk agreements and creating the illusion that the conflict can be resolved by force. We call on the United States to sign a binding agreement on security guarantees, one that will ensure stability in Europe and prevent further escalation.
Security architecture is a mutually agreed, explicitly or implicitly accepted system of political and military balance, in which the risk of war is minimized and military force ceases to be an instrument of policy. Where such architecture exists, deterrence prevails over violence. The European security architecture was born in 1945 after the Yalta Conference. The continent was divided into spheres of influence. NATO was established in the West, 1949, and the Warsaw Pact in the East, 1955. This tense balance kept the peace until the end of the Cold War. In 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed under the pressure of economic crisis, national movements, and failed reforms. The old order disappeared. Eastern Europe, Poland, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Slovakia, Slovenia, Romania, and Bulgaria began to move west. For Poland, this was a strategic choice, security over dependence. For Russia, it was a betrayal of 1990's promises and a threat at its borders. After the annexation of Crimea in 2014 and the full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, it became clear the previous balance has collapsed. Russia and the West no longer share common rules of the game. We are once again living in an era of blocks, but this time without trust. And security architecture is not just about maps and treaties. It is a matter of memory, fear, and choice.
In a moment, you will begin military maneuvers on the Suwalki Gap as part of the Tarchov's Hood simulation. You will enter real-time gameplay, go through every stage of the battle, and learn the game mechanics. You can choose between 2 game modes. The active commander gives you direct control over each unit on the battlefield. The passive commander delegates unit control to artificial intelligence, allowing you to focus on defining objectives and priorities. Choose wisely and enjoy the game.
Commander, welcome to the operational simulation. We will begin training with the Battle Management System, BMS, to prepare you for leading our forces to victory. Every engagement begins with the deployment phase, the stage of preparation. But before we move on to force deployment, you'll first become familiar with the battlefield observation systems and camera controls. To move the camera, use the WASD keys. Rotate the camera by holding the middle mouse button and moving the mouse. To zoom in or out, use the mouse scroll wheel or press Q or E. To purchase a unit, you must first select a deployment zone, either by clicking it on the battlefield or by using the icon in the top left corner of the screen. Now let's start deploying units. Command has assigned you 2 infantry squads, transported in a KTO Rosomark, and supplies points required to deploy them. To deploy a unit, click the corresponding button in the deployment UI, then select a point on the map. You can only deploy units inside the blue lines, which mark the sectors controlled by your forces.
Unit ready.
Infantry units can be deployed directly inside a transport vehicle. To do this, first click the Combined Unit button, then select the infantry unit.
Zgłaszam się.
Unit ready. Unit ready.
Now that our units are deployed, we can reposition them within our controlled sectors. To do this, select a unit and right-click on the target location on the map. Move any of your units to point Alpha. Excellent work, Commander. Let's conclude the deployment phase. To proceed, press the spacebar or click Start Battle. The battlefield is divided into sectors, each of which can be controlled by either side of the conflict. To secure the sector, you must capture all control points within its boundaries. To capture a control point, your units must be inside its area, with no enemy presence during the capture. Order your units to secure Sector Bravo.
Critical sector secured.
In some sectors, control points are located inside buildings. To capture such a point, an infantry unit must enter the building. Sector Charlie is one of these sectors. Use an infantry unit to capture it.
Gotowi do akcji. Potwierdzam. Gotowi do akcji. W drodze! Czekamy na polecenia. Tak jest. Tak jest, dowódco. Tak jest. Rozkazy? Zajmuję pozycję. Gotowi do akcji. Naprzód. Zrozumiano. Oddział w gotowości.
Critical sector secured.
There are two key resources in battle: supplies and intel. Supplies are earned by controlling the battlefield. Your income is based on a fixed base value, modified by the percentage of sectors under your control. They are the primary resource required for recruiting all units and activating certain support abilities. Intel is required to deploy higher-tier units, establish and upgrade deployment zones, and call in support from outside the battlefield. You gain a small amount of intel passively by holding sectors. Additional intel is earned by detecting enemy forces, destroying enemy reconnaissance units, or using your own recon unit's abilities.
Na rozkaz. Kierunek potwierdzony. Zrozumiano, dowódco. Czekam na rozkazy. Naprzód! Ruszamy?
Enemy unit destroyed.
Dowódco?
Enemy unit destroyed. Enemy unit destroyed.
Deploying units during battle works differently than in the deployment phase. Units arrive near a deployment zone, though deployment requires time, and each zone can deploy only one unit at once. Because of this, you may need additional deployment zones during battle. To acquire one, press the button in the top left corner of the screen. This costs 100 intel points.
Unit ready.
New deployment zones arrive in the form of a deployment truck. To turn it into a functional base, it must be assembled. Select the truck, use the deploy ability, and choose the target location.
Czekamy na polecenie.
Deployment zones can only be established within sectors under your control.
Potwierdzam. Zrozumiano.
Any deployment zone, except the initial one, can be reverted back into a supply truck when needed. To unlock access to more advanced units, a deployment zone must be upgraded. There are 3 tiers of upgrades, and each unit belongs to one of these tiers. To upgrade a deployment zone, select an established one and press the upgrade button on the unit panel. Upgrading requires intel points and temporarily disables the zone from deploying new units while the upgrade is in progress. Forests and buildings obstruct line of sight for your units. As commander, you can review what your forces currently see and preview visibility from any chosen position. To enable the visibility overlay, press the C key or click the button above the minimap. Keep in mind that just because your units can see an area doesn't mean every enemy there will be detected. Some units have stealth statistic that can be further increased by being in forest or building. To counter this, specialized units such as electronic warfare vehicles are available. Command has granted you access to one, along with the resources needed to deploy it. Now that the unit is on the battlefield, let's put it to work. Enemy forces are concealed in the forest within Sector Delta. Use your electronic warfare vehicle to locate and eliminate them.
Oddział w gotowości. Czekam na rozkazy. Zrozumiano, dowódco. Na rozkaz. Wykonuję. Zrozumiano, dowódco. Wykonuję. W drodze. Przyjąłem. Działamy. Wykonuję. Kierunek potwierdzony. Wykonuję rozkaz. Potwierdzam. Czekamy na polecenia. Przemieszczam się. Ruszamy. Działamy.
Enemy unit destroyed.
Tak jest. Dowódco? Przyjąłem. Zajmuję pozycję. Naprzód. Potwierdzam. Zajmuję pozycję. Na rozkaz. Ruszamy. Czekam na rozkazy. Zrozumiano. Kierunek potwierdzony. Dowódco? Przemieszczam się. Zrozumiano. Czekam na rozkazy. Ruszamy. W drodze. Przyjąłem. Zajmuję pozycję. Działamy. Zrozumiano, dowódco. Tak jest. Zajmuję pozycję. Zrozumiano. Zajmuję pozycję. Zrozumiano, dowódco. Potwierdzam. Zrozumiano, dowódco. W drodze. Tak jest. Potwierdzam. Potwierdzam. Działamy. Zajmuję pozycję. Działamy. Tak jest. Tak jest. Rozkazy? Zrozumiano. Tak jest. Kierunek potwierdzony.
Enemy unit destroyed.
Tak jest, dowódco. Potwierdzam. Kierunek potwierdzony. Przemieszczam się.
Enemy unit destroyed.
In addition to terrain features that block visibility, certain obstacles like uneven ground may block only the line of fire. To check this and to view your unit's weapon ranges, activate the range overlay. Press the V key or click the highlighted button above the minimap to enable it. Armored vehicles, such as the KTO Rosomak, have different levels of armor depending on the side. To check the armor of your unit, select it and click the shield icon in the unit panel. Each side of the vehicle has two values: kinetic defense and heat defense. These represent the penetration types used by different kinds of weapons. Every weapon relies on one specific penetration type. Commander, you've just gained access to new units for purchase in the deployment zone, along with a steady supply of resources. Use them to eliminate all enemy forces within the training area and complete the exercise.
Sector secured.
Dowódco. Wykonuję. Działamy. Przyjąłem.
During battle, you also have access to off-map support, such as artillery barrages or AGM strikes. These can be activated by clicking the button in the bottom right corner of the screen. Be aware that using support consumes both supplies and intel. Call in an artillery barrage on enemy units. Note that using artillery is side objective. Completing side objectives is not required to finish the mission, but doing so will grant you additional rewards.
Ruszamy? Przemieszczam się!
Unit ready.
Czekamy na polecenia.
Unit ready.
Dowódco? Wykonuję.
Unit ready.
Kierunek potwierdzony. Copy that. Wykonuję rozkaz. Oddział w gotowości.
Enemy captured the sector.
Ruszamy. Potwierdzam. Naprzód. Na rozkaz. Zgłaszam się. Potwierdzam. Rozkazy? Kierunek potwierdzony. Wykonuję rozkaz. Działamy. Działamy. Copy that. Rozkazy? Ruszamy. Przemieszczam się.
Enemy captured the sector. Enemy captured the sector. Enemy captured the sector. Infantry unit lost. Unit retreating. Unit retreating. Recon unit lost. Unit retreating. Unit retreating. IFV unit lost. Unit retreating. Unit ready. Unit
Tak
ready.
jest, dowódco.
Infantry unit lost. Unit retreating. Unit ready. Infantry unit lost. Unit ready.
Target acquired. Zrozumiano.
Unit ready.
Zajmuję pozycję.
Unit ready.
Gotowi do akcji. Zrozumiano. Kierunek
Unit
potwierdzony.
ready. Enemy unit destroyed. Unit retreating. Unit retreating.
Launched.
IFV unit lost.
Gotowi do akcji. Tak jest.
Enemy unit destroyed.
Naprzód. Działamy.
Enemy unit destroyed.
Wykonuję rozkaz.
Unit retreating. Enemy unit destroyed.
Zgłaszam się. Działamy.
Unit ready. Enemy unit destroyed.
Na rozkaz.
Unit ready.
Przemieszczam się. Czekam na rozkazy.
Unit ready.
Ruszamy.
Unit
Zrozumiano,
ready.
dowódco. Potwierdzam. W drodze. Zrozumiano, dowódco.
Unit ready.
Zgłaszam się. Potwierdzam. Czekam na rozkazy. Przyjąłem.
Unit ready. Unit ready. Unit ready.
Dział w gotowości. Zrozumiano, dowódco. Aiming target.
Unit ready. Unit retreating. Enemy unit destroyed.
A recent ultimatum by Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov at an OSCE session has drawn sharp responses from Western officials.
Russia has no veto over NATO enlargement. Every country has the right to choose its own path to security.
U.S. backs talks, rejects Lavrov's demands.
The United States follows the principle, nothing about you without you. The open door policy remains unchanged.
The Ukrainian side made it clear that it does not accept any ultimatums from Moscow.
This is a Langley secure channel established. We're transmitting classified satellite imagery, troop concentrations, equipment staging, logistics convoys. The pattern is clear. All our indicators point to a full-scale invasion of Ukraine within days. This is not an exercise. They're locking into final positions. We wanted Warsaw informed first. You need to be ready for regional fallout, refugee flows, airspace risks, cyber disruptions. We'll keep the channel open.
This is the Analysis Division, Foreign Intelligence Agency. We have confirmation from multiple sources. Russia is preparing a military operation against Ukraine. Troop movements, logistical activity, and satellite reconnaissance all indicate the final phase of preparations. All signs suggest the attack could occur within the next few days.
In a moment, you will begin military maneuvers on the Suwalki Gap as part of the Tarchov's Hood simulation. You will enter real-time gameplay, go through every stage of the battle, and learn the game mechanics. You can choose between two game modes. The active commander gives you direct control over each unit on the battlefield. The passive commander delegates unit control to artificial intelligence, allowing you to focus on defining objectives and priorities. Choose wisely and enjoy the game.
Unit ready.
Commander, welcome to the operational simulation. We will begin training with the Battle Management System, BMS. to prepare you for leading our forces to victory. This is about passive commander mode. In this mode, you issue high-level orders to your forces instead of controlling each unit individually. Let's begin the training with camera movement. To move the camera, use the WASD keys.